Most of my time hearing confessions, and 90% of the confessions I hear are Irish mothers praying for their children that have gone wrong. And it's heartbreaking. You meet in good case where they come, to thank the Lord, but mostly it's to intercede to the Lord and to our Blessed Mother for people who've gone astray. And I think Ireland, and I hate saying this, Leon has mentioned it several times, our country has been ruined by these referenda, particularly the abortion. Things have gone drastically downhill. And when you see a situation like Leon said, when they were glorifying the streets in Dublin, that this had happened. And I can't believe, that people did that. And even people I knew, family members, various people like that, I could not believe that they voted. I think they were hoodwinked into it. And now people, I think, are very, very sorry that they have changed our country and brought us to the brink of paganism. And I say that with all due respect, because people have vanished from the church for masses. When I did work in a big town, and there are lovely people there, but a few Sundays I've done mass, and maybe in a big cathedral, one particular Sunday, I think there are about 80 people and 2 children. And there's, I suppose, 2,000, 3,000 children there. And COVID didn't help, and it was a convenient excuse for people to stop going to mass. And the other thing that surprises me is a lot of adults that never missed their religious duties, don't go now, because it's the in thing, you're cool if you don't go to mass, But I think we need to change all that system. And if they came out here for even one day to change their whole attitude to life and to make them appreciate what they have. You go up there to confession, I've met amazing stories of, I suppose, forgiveness. And we don't go to confession anymore in Ireland. People just don't go. It's not even available for people. But here, it's more like, I suppose, not an interview. I interviewed everybody when I start confession, where they come from, where they're here, all the members of their family, and sometimes it might take 20 minutes. And then it's like peeling an onion, and you tear away the layers, and then you get their full story. And I think that's hugely important, because people need that today. And I remember, I suppose, when we were growing up, we all went to confession. And when we were in college or boarding school, it was an opportunity to get out to study or whatever, and we'd take advantage of that. But the one thing I noticed was, and sometimes in the earlier parishes I was in, you had 4 hours confession, there were 2 or 3 priests. Christmas and Easter, you'll be hearing confessions for maybe 5 hours Ash or before Christmas and Easter. And the people needed healing. And do you know what it was? It was more psychological. They told their problems to the Lord and they got healing. Now, with all due respect to all these experts, all these ologists, you can call it whatever ologist you like, they go to them, they pay big money, and then sometimes it makes them worse. So I think that's very, very important. But again, same with doctors and that, they don't go enough to trust in healing. And maybe this is the last thing I come up with. When I went on sabbatical to America 9 years ago, when things, something I've never mentioned it before in public, somebody made a kind of an accusation, which was totally and utterly wrong, and they apologised afterwards. They said, that I was a high-profile individual, and they probably wanted to get some money or whatever. But I never knew who the person was, and I never asked. And I was almost suicidal to think that after all my years involved with kids and working like that this could happen to me. And it really drove me, But I went to America to the Dominican. I stayed with the Dominicans in Rockbridge over in university in not San Francisco, across the bridge. My brain is getting a small bit confused at this stage. No, it was in Berkeley University, and I went for 2 terms. I spent the whole year there, and that kind of straightened me out maybe a little bit. But my uncle was a priest, and he died, and his whole hands were contorted like that. He died. I know when he died in 1954, because it was the first person I ever saw dead, and he was all dressed up in his green vestments, and he was a great Irish scholar. He translated all Shakespeare into Irish and Quo Vadis, and maybe that's where the literary thing comes into me, I never know. And that kind of set me, that I was going to get these things. And they say that if you go away from your regular environment, that you can get these things. And I picked up rheumatoid arthritis. I didn't know what I had. I couldn't, if I sat down, I couldn't get up. And I came back to Ireland in a wheelchair, went straight to a hospital in Dublin near the airport, and they brought me in again that night for this CAT scan and rushed me straight to hospital. It took them 9 days to discover I had the worst form of rheumatoid arthritis. I was told I'd never walk again, I'd be on medication for the rest of my life, and that was it. And I wouldn't accept it. I went to a homeopath and increased my natural nutrition, and it gave me a solution that is totally against, I suppose, the medical people. He said, mix 2 oranges, 3 grapefruit, 3 lemon juice them, 2 pints of boiling water, 2 ounces of Epsom salts, and take a glass every day, and you'll be okay. And I said that. Now I came out to Dubrovnik in June. This was in February for my niece's wedding, and I take no luggage, only hand luggage, so I couldn't bring my with me. But I came here to Dubrovnik, and he came up here for a day, and nothing happened to me after the week in Dubrovnik. I was not perfect, but I still take that. But I never got it. It never came back. I was told I'd never walk again. I'd be on medication for the rest of my life. And I went back to the rheumatologist 2 times in Dublin, and I said to him, I said, you're clear. You're the only person, he said, that I've dealt with that has got over this rheumatoid arthritis. And it was, I suppose, nutrition and prayer here. I came to Medjugorje 2 more times that year, and I went home a day early, because I told the bishop I'd go back to work, because I was told I'd never work again. So I told the bishop I'd go back to work if I got better, and I did, and he brought me to Cove, and that continues the story. And that was 9 years ago, and I'm retired 2 years ago because I was 75. And he said, look, you need kind of a break. You had another bad issue 5 years ago. I got a heart attack because I was writing stuff, magazine, all maybe on 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I got this heart, and I was rushed to hospital, and the doctor told me another half an hour that I was dead. But again I trusted, and people said you'll never walk again, and I wouldn't listen to that. And my heart was 70 or 25% damaged, but it didn't bother me in the slightest. I trusted in prayer, I trusted in the Lord, and that's why, nothing, even COVID. I went out here during COVID, last July, 12 months when nobody was allowed to travel. Well, there was one flight left Dublin for, to Malaga, and I was at an aunt's funeral in Dublin in Nunn, and I looked up and I said, there were flights for €25 return from Dublin to Malaga, and I went out, and then afterwards I travelled, and this time when I arrived here week before last, I had 65,000 miles travelled in this year alone. And I know I'm bad for the planet, but anyway, the planet will survive without me. And the other thing was that when I arrived here in Dubrovnik, it was my 31st flight in and out of airports this year. And everybody told me I was crazy. At my age, my heart complained that, and it didn't bother me in the slightest. Why? The whole answer to this is trusting in the Lord, and we need to trust Him more and more. And that's why I appeal to the people of Ireland, trust in the Lord. And one thing I suppose that might bring us to our senses is the difficult things that happen in life. Yesterday there was a terrible tragedy in Donegal where premises was blown up by gas. There was over the shop there were apartments, and it all collapsed. And at the moment there's 9 people have died, and I hope no more, but there's several people injured, and there are others they can't find. Now, why have they had, all these apartments and places like that. There's plenty of places. Everything is crowded in together. Everybody wants to make use of everything, and they don't think about, the consequences if something happens like that. Because there are people in the shop, and it was a busy Friday, and my heart goes out to those people today. I think I'll finish that note because I want to go to confession. I could talk to you, Tom, all day and all night, but that's my major problem but now I want to talk about real things, and in being involved in sport and that all my life, it helped me because I love dealing with children, but I think all that's behind me. Now I still have an interest, but the rest of my life, as long as I live, it will be devoted to our Blessed Mother, coming here and making a statement to people that we can reverse the damage that's done, but it's going to take a long time. It's going to take a lot more than me, but again, prayer is the only way forward, I think, for the situation in Ireland, and in many countries in the world as well, and that is the biggest grievance in my heart. They grew up in a beautiful environment, and now people have thrown it all away.
Thank you for this beautiful interview, Father.
Yeah.